All right, have meme coins hit peak saturation? Are they about to fall off a cliff? Is there too much fragmentation across different baskets of meme coins? Could Solana DeFi be about to go through a bit of a renaissance? What are the catalysts for that? Is it all just pie in the sky? We're going to take a look at everything there today. So I've got a couple of tokens that I think could do potentially well. Not financial advice or anything like that, but there's a lot of great catalysts coming for some of the Solana DeFi projects. So we're going to take a look at that, why memes could be having a little bit of a cool off. I don't think they're going to be gone forever. People like the extreme volatility and the casino nature of them. But there are a few kind of canaries in the coal mine, a few warning signs. Pump.fun is just hit its record daily revenue. So 2.31 million annualized. That would be currently 326.1 million, which is kind of insane. Yesterday, I think it actually generated more revenue than Solana and Ethereum. So yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. So things are getting a little bit frothy on the timeline. We're starting to see, and what you typically see when these things happen is the current meta changes ever so quickly, and the more quickly it changes, it doesn't really spell good end for that certain category. You've seen it last cycle with regards to, oh, we're going to bridge to Near now. Now everyone's trading on Near, trying to pump Near. Oh, we're going to Metis. So like the quicker the rotations happen, the more closer to a category or a basket top, in my opinion. I've seen it play out a million times. So I'm a little bit wary of that. New launches seem to be kind of hitting the glass ceiling. I think people have figured the game out. And you're hearing a lot of cornered supply, same kind of clientele, same kind of people who can bot it, same kind of people who can drive volume through it, always resulting in, a bit of a on-chain footprint and a bit of a footprint in the asset and the chart and how the thing plays out. So that is a slight concern if you're holding all memes. And then you've kind of got new products coming on the market where makenow.meme, pretty cool. Actually really like the idea, but this is kind of an extension of Pump.fun where you can launch a token directly on Twitter through this. I think they might have been rate limited on Twitter, so they might be having a couple of issues, but yeah, that's currently happening. And then another cool product that's getting to the market, Dumpy.fun, which is from the Solana team, who, if you're around last cycle, they have a lending and borrowing protocol. I'll try and get an invite code. I think I know what it is. I just want to double check, and then I'll leave it in the description below if you want to check that out. But basically, this is short the shitcoins destined for zero, powered by Solana. Our beta is live, so I'm interested to see how they do this. I can imagine it's a kind of lend and borrow market where you can short it, but you're going to be paying extremely high APRs. That would kind of make sense. And then if we just look at high level, like as I say, the meta between every little basket, dogs, cats, frogs, smoking chicken fish. It seems to be going quicker and quicker, and like nothing kind of seems to get sustained. Like Frank from D Gods put his name behind something yesterday, and then that's went to shit overnight, and it doesn't. The game's up. The game's up. The meta's out. Think back to Ohm Fox last cycle. Everyone after the first couple kind of knew what the game was, and now the game's up on this. Pool twos before that, so it is what it is. And if you look on Photon, like everything's launching with CTO, community takeover before it's even launched. Like, come on, like this is like every couple of seconds there's a new launch across Pump.fun or liquidity, attention, and just brain capacity is too fragmented to have any concentration around a specific asset. And any asset that does go on a run, it just saps all liquidity out of the market. Like everyone arguing around which Nero is the right Nero, and then the one on Ethereum's actually gone and just smashed it because there isn't this kind of cabal-like experience that are controlling the vast majority of coins on Solana at the minute. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are other aspects of Solana that are extremely impressive. Like the deep in AI sector is definitely heating up. You have a plethora of like really interesting deep in projects that actually migrated from their own chain because they were like, why would we feel the need to do that when we can just run on this extremely cheap, extremely quick, and highly performant chain? IO's just launched Render. There's Grass launching pretty soon, which looks really impressive. So yeah, it's a really good destination for that. But what I would like to see, and which I think is happening now, there seems to be a coordinated effort, whether it is on purpose or whether it is just a coincidence that all these kind of product rollouts are happening at the same time. I'd kind of put two and two together. I'd probably imagine it's a coordinated effort going into Q3 for DeFi to kind of steal a limelight. And I love that. Obviously, the past few months we've all been trading memes, and that's where the attention and that's where the mindshare was. I'd love for it to swing back towards DeFi, which is what I know and love more than anything, I think, on the planet. And yeah, hopefully we're gonna go through some other big catalysts around some of the main tokens here. If I have missed anything, please leave a comment below, or shoot me a DM or something like that. I'd love to kind of explore some new assets. And yeah, I understand a lot of people might have came to this space and just only known memes, which is quite interesting. So we're thinking about doing a DeFi tutorial kind of seminar from zero to one. If anyone is interested, then again, please leave a comment. If there's no comments, I'm not going to go and do it. I can't be asked spending my time if no one's going to watch it. But yeah, let us know, because I think that'd be quite cool. And so Solana DeFi, my opinion, drastically behind what happens on Ethereum and other L2s and alt L1s. I think it's really far behind with regards to just design of protocols, token design, innovation. But I think we're slowly getting there. So we're starting to see Solana TVL obviously increase. We know that. We're not stupid. We know that everyone's coming for the memes. But then you're also starting to see some really cool products come online, and then some also really cool updates. So the first one that I've got open is not these. Let me just close these. Yeah, so Kamino, right? So what is Kamino? Kamino is effectively a borrow and lend market, and then you can obviously use those borrow and lend markets to do some really interesting stuff like long short, like buy multiples, like bull bear tokens, or you can kind of loop. And by looping, I mean depositing one asset, borrowing another, using that asset to buy the deposited asset, and then just continually kind of going through the same thing to kind of leverage your overall position. So if you think about it, you could have Jito Sol, deposit Jito Sol, then borrow stablecoins against it, and you take those stablecoins to the market, and then you buy more Jito Sol, deposit again, and just do the whole thing, just loop the whole thing, and then you really beef up your collateral deposit, and then you also beef up your APR, but then obviously you run the risk of liquidation. So these are the kind of things probably go through on the DeFi seminar if anyone's kind of interested. Because there's a lot of really interesting strategies here. So why this is interesting to me, one, I think the chart looks really good, and that's not everything, but it's an indication of there's interest. So following like kind of like the airdrop and the dump, I think a lot of people are just kind of sold off, being very kind of, what's the word, kind of altruistic in their approach to this, not really giving a shit, just deposited some assets in. And I think that's a good opportunity for people to actually buy in. Lots of buy volume coming in relative to kind of the token and the market cap. And there's a big thing happening in the DeFi landscape currently with Aave really begins to have like this huge push. So there's this, they're talking about this kind of fee switch, and previously I would have thought they never went and done that because of the kind of regulatory landscape, but now it looks like, all being well, it looks like whoever gets kind of elected in the US is kind of going to have a little bit more of a lenient approach with regards to crypto. We think. We don't have a clue what they say one thing, do another. We all know that. But I think there's a lot of DeFi tokens that are gearing up towards, right, let's get this fee switch going. And Aave is so lindy that it could really, really, really do well over the coming weeks. And it's a very, very, very easy pitch to the TradFi suits. Oh, it's a lend and borrow and money market. This is how it works. Like that, they'd be creaming their pants all over that kind of thing. That's their bag. And if that does continue, Kamino being the best lend and borrow market on Solana, you'd expect that to kind of pick up a beta on that. And you'd obviously expect it to kind of get a multiple being at the market cap that it is, and that it's on Solana. A lot of good kind of tailwinds there to allow that to happen, I think. They have also just went through, where the hell is it? This onboarding of PYUSD, which is the stable coin from PayPal. And then there's been $187 million supplied, and utilization is 4.28%. And there's 8 million PYUSD available. And I think they're incentivizing this pool, so you could actually, let's have a look at it. Boost value 3x, PYUSD rewards, 20% APY, lending APY is 0.01%, and then the boosted Kamino rewards are 20%. So the only thing I don't like about the token is the fact that it will be used as an incentive token for quite a while, because they have to get over that kind of cold start problem. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, because you don't want to just be kind of holding this farm and dump token. But I think there's enough headwinds to enough tailwinds to kind of drive this forward. But like partnering with PayPal to get this market open, I think is a big step. And every network needs its premier lending and borrowing protocol. Don't get me wrong, I like to see Tapioca here. As soon as Layer Zero have got Solana properly integrated, it seems like they announced it and it's live, but the integrations don't seem to be 100% there yet. And I know for a fine fact that Tapioca will expand over here. In the meantime, we like to speculate, so this is the play for me. So let's have a look at the breakdown. Comprehensive overview: 1.4 billion TVL. Really good numbers up and to the right, as you can see by this chart here. Amusing flip side here, really good. It's like June, but covers a little bit more bases and it's a bit more pretty. So as you see, up and to the right, and then you've kind of got this distribution. So current TVL by tokens and PYUSD contributing to nearly 14.28% of the TVL on Kamino at the minute, which is really, really impressive. Jito Sol. And speaking about Jito, and then Jupsol, we're going to be speaking about that as well. So yeah, everything's looking good. Daily active users, that seems to be on the decline. Are we going to start to see that increase with new participants getting interested in DeFi again? Who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on that, because that is you kind of want to see that increase, and you want to kind of see TVL and activity increase as well. And new and recurring users. So you want to kind of see that new user start to uptick as well. So we'll keep an eye on these stats. We don't want to buy something when we've already kind of hit the peak of it. We want to be kind of trying to front run what we believe that the market will do. And this is where we're thinking. If we're wrong, we have a clear defined way of defining that we're wrong, not just on price. So next is, everyone knows Jupiter. So Jupiter, in my opinion, is the homepage of Solana. Between that and Phantom, anyway. So Jupiter obviously has had its airdrop. It's had its last day of claims, so there's been like a lot of unclaimed Jupe. And then recently they've been going through a load of kind of updates that they're expecting to roll out over the next month. And let me just go click on this one. So the J4J roadmap, they have a strange way of kind of going through these things. So let's go through them. So obviously, Sanctum and Cloud's launched on there. Where I'm not too interested in Cloud just yet because I believe there's still a lot of supply to come into the market. But aside from that, we're recording this on the 1st of August, where there's going to be a supply to reduce the long-term emissions of dupe by 30%. So there's going to be a 30% reduction in the dupe supply because they feel like it's unwarranted to have it, and it's just like this kind of looming overhang that everyone's kind of, what's going to happen to that? Is it going to come on the market? Am I going to kind of get this huge drawdown overnight? Is it really necessary? So that goes live today. You probably listen to this on a second, so if you want to go and check that out, go and check it. I can imagine it's going to be a resounding vote in favor of the burn. So, and what else have we got? Yeah, there's dBridge. So if anyone's used dBridge, this is like one of the most impressive bridges that are on the market. It connects basically anything and any network to any network. Well, basically anywhere you'd want to be. And that goes live. I think that should do extremely well. And they're going to launch that on the launchpad. And they are rolling out these key ideas for dupes, such as 50/50 dupery, ASR, community eats first, and giant unified market, which they're going to be rolling out these slowly but surely. So I can imagine Meow is going to have like little talks on each, and then as the understanding of these comes out, we'll try and get some content out there so everyone's fully aware and broken down into kind of layman's terms, because sometimes teams talk in a way that only they can understand. So what else have we got? So huge product updates, lots of activity through the launchpad, and huge burn coming. And then we've also got the active staking rewards. I think this is a really good idea to incentivize DAO turnout and governance proposal activity, because a lot of DAOs really struggle to get people to turn out. And then you end up seeing something what happened with Compound this week, where like whales corner a certain amount of supply and then push governance in their favor to show that governance is a little bit of a meme, but if everyone turns out and votes, then maybe it's not. So yeah, you have to kind of act and vote within the proposals to actually get some of the active staking rewards for these specific epochs. So really interesting. And then I noticed they have launched this. I don't know what it is. It looks like a bit of a terminal. Maybe it's going to be, I haven't connected to it yet. I'm going to check it out. And that was just on the new UI UX that's been laid out. And yeah, so last remaining day to claim dupe. So that's over now. Anyone who hasn't claimed, it's kind of returned to the treasury and team. And then the DAO vote to burn 5% of the supply takes 1st of August. Yeah, so I like that. Do I like the chart? Not sure. Obviously, this is coming back off the last day to claim your dupe. So you'd imagine over the past couple of days, as we've kind of seen, the last days, anyone who's want to have sold was probably sold. But everything that's coming, everything that's going ahead for it looks impressive. You've also got UniV4, which seems to be on the horizon. And I know Jupiter isn't a DEX per se. It does own Meteora, which is like the concentrated liquidity DEX underneath it. But some people are just assuming that Jupiter's a DEX, and like you can let them think that way. And if Uni starts to catch a bid based on UniV4, I can't see why it would, because I can imagine Uniswap Foundation are selling as much Uni to pay for the legal battles. But there will be a lot of hype and a lot of speculation. And if DEXs catch a bid, then you best believe Jupiter is going to catch a bid as well. So I like a lot of compliments around positive sentiment and positive product updates, plus the burn as well for Jupiter. What else have we got? Get these out of the way. It's quite messy, isn't it? Right, Jito. If no one knows what Jito is, but they've held Jito Sol, you should probably hold Jito Sol as opposed to Sol, because the inflation for Solana is relatively high compared to other tokens. So Jito is, in a nutshell, flashbots, so kind of bundling and packaging MEV to prevent and redistribute MEV to holders. And then you also have liquid staking tokens such as Jito Sol, and they're going to expand this offering. So basically what you've got there is Flashbots and Lido, and now they've announced restaking. So you've got Flashbots, Lido meets Eigenlayer, but there's a few there's a few changes which all play into Jito owning the full stack of liquid staking, liquid restaking, MEV, and yeah. So some of the main differences are, with Eigenlayer, you have Eigenlayer, so you deposit a LST into Eigenlayer, and then you can use that receipt, your LRT, your liquid restaking token, to then go and actively validate specific services that require decentralized and distributed network. So maybe a new bridge comes online where they need a distributed network to verify transactions coming in and out of the bridge, instead of using the native token, which they would have to pay a large percent of that supply out for the security budget. Instead of doing that, why don't they bootstrap it with existing restaked Solana that's on the network, or existing restaked stablecoins that are on the network? So there's already a large amount of capital there. Why don't we then just rehypothecate that, instead of kind of using this random token that's came out of thin air that you're going to have to bootstrap the liquidity for, you're going to have to bootstrap to the security, and you're going to have to kind of hand over a shit ton of the supply to the validators to allow. So that's how that works. So you're going to have restaking on Solana. Maybe there's bridges, maybe there's oracles, maybe there are L2s, which we're starting to see a lot of come online. So maybe all these need a restaking security layer, so shared security across, and then Jito are going to provide that infrastructure to allow it. So not only are they going to allow that to happen with Jito Sol, but then they're also going to kind of own the this thing called the Vault program, which has bespoke liquid restaking tokens. So if you own, let's just say, a bridge, for example, and you need that restaking network, you can kind of opt in, opt out of which tokens you wish to use as the rehypothecated assets to secure your network. And what that does is, instead of kind of outsourcing and enabling like a billion different LRT protocols like we've seen on Ethereum to pop up, which are basically just points farms at this point, it allows Jito to control the whole stack, from staking to MEV to restaking to AVSs. So it becomes really, really powerful off the back of that. And that's like a little difference that comes across on Jito, as opposed to what you're seeing with Eigenlayer and Karak and a couple of others. Is there anything else interesting on this point? Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for just the restaking aspect of Jito. But there was some interesting stats that came out that 40% of all Solana transactions were going through Jito, which is like, these guys are absolutely smashing it. But then, you have questions around with regards to further centralization forces. It is what it is currently. We're going to have to see how this plays out, but Jito seems to absolutely dominate in Solana. And then they've also just rolled out StakeNet. So this is a little bit more complex, that probably needs a video in and of itself. So Jito Foundation is proud to announce the mainnet launch of StakeNet Steward Program. This means Jito Stake Pool will now be managed by StakeNet. So it's like a decentralized it's a decentralized way of controlling the stake pool, as opposed to having this kind of centralizing force with regards to the stake pool on Solana. There's a really good talk from their team, which I will leave the link in the description below if you're interested. But all that to say, it's just continual product shipment from this team, who are super, super, super impressive, and they seem to be pulling the strings over on Solana. So, and a little quick look at the chart. Where are we? Was continuing to do really, really well, and still does look pretty good, to be fair. But yeah, I'd expect this to continue. I don't like, obviously you'll use Jupiter to buy it, but what I don't like is the vast majority of liquidity is Jito Sol. Jito is paired with Jito Sol, if that makes sense. And the chart looks like dog shit, so it's pretty hard to chart out if you're just looking at it for the sake of looking at it. And last one is Drift. So this is the one I'm least sure about, but I like it anyway. So What month are we in? 1st of August, September, October, November. So we've got roughly 4 months until the election. And everyone has been going poly market mad. It's continuing to hit all-time high volumes day after day because it's becoming the prediction market, an on-chain prediction market for the election and other markets. Let's be true, but like the vast majority of the volume is coming through the election markets. And now people are looking for like, well, how the hell do I express my interest in my bullishness on prediction markets as a whole? And Drift is a derivatives platform. Let me just click on the right one. So yeah, perps. Immediate pushback would be the book is very, very thin. Liquidity spreads are quite wide, and people are complaining about that. But I think that's something you can fix. If you've got a shit product, then you've got a shit product. Liquidity is something that you can fix, particularly in this space. Lots of great markets. So you have, let's go to the dash. Let's see what we've got. So, and you can spread by trending, pre-launch, Solana, L1, L2, meme, spot. So lots of really good markets on there. Some you can trade with higher leverage than others. Didn't realize Dime was on there. I'd have been short on that to bottom. So really easy to open along. Let's, okay, well, it's only a little small test account anyway. For the last video I did, by the way, when someone was watching me on Hyperliquid, yeah, I completely forgot about the so long that I left open. That absolutely ripped, and then someone left me a comment to check it. So thanks for that. That was great. But yeah, effectively perpetuals, and then you've got some spot and then swaps, and you've also got they lent heavily into the spot prediction market, so you kind of see where the head was at with that, with regards to Kama and Trump. I was shouting about Kama at 2 million, so that was a lovely little trade there. And now they're going to expand into purely like prediction markets. With they're kind of like a binary option market, prediction market. So, and I do wonder like what will have been going on behind closed doors with Poly Market. Obviously, that's built on Polygon, but are they going to go for some chain abstracted, like multi-chain rollout where they don't have to be? Maybe they roll out to different chains, but like you'd have thought with the momentum that Solana's got, you'd have expected Poly Market to have at least hinted that they were going over to Solana or something along those lines. Maybe not. Maybe they're happy where they are, but like who the fuck's using Polygon really? So yeah, so Drift has just said, fuck it, we're gonna go and build out a prediction market. And what's interesting, I remember 563 saying, whilst waiting for Monad, why didn't I just bet on Say? And Say obviously had that run up at the beginning of the year, and I think people did really, really well. You need beta in the market if you can't gain exposure to the asset that you want to express it in. And then obviously this has a lot of upside in it in and of itself. So yeah, unveils prediction markets. And when I mean this is the least one I'm excited about. The chart looks a bit funky, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Relative to the portfolio, it's quite small. So, but I do seem to think that it could do well. If it doesn't, we can cut that quite early, because if that just continues to trend down, then I'm not going to be stuck holding the bag while people sell into it. So, what else have we got? Like other bullish catalysts are a little bit of an adjacent to that. So Eclipse is bringing the SVM, so the execution environment, so the Solana virtual machine that allows extremely high performance, no noisy neighbor problems. NFT mint can be happening whilst you're trading your shitcoins, and you wouldn't know the difference, because there's different aspects of the network that pick up hotspots. Whereas on Ethereum, if there's an NFT mint happening, you want to trade shitcoins, you might have to wait because gas will be too high. So there's a load of different benefits to the SVM over the EVM. So they are bringing the SVM L2 and L2 on Ethereum. They're using Celestia for data availability, and they're using Risk Zero for their fraud proofs. So more interest in the SVM going further afield. Maybe some of these apps launch on Eclipse as well. They've had a huge back end. A bit of a weird PR nightmare, if I'm quite honest with their founder. But I'm actually interviewing them today as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can go and check the Blockmates channel to watch that. And then again, spoke with these guys in the week. Rome protocol, Solana in Ethereum. So these are using Rome modularizes the Solana into a set of enshrined services, so L2s can be fast and decentralized on Solana. What the hell does that mean? Rome shared sequence, so the first modular Solana service, so the flow of what it would work. They're using Solana basically as a shared sequencer, so you could have different L2s, different networks, different rollups on top of using Solana as that shared sequencer. Then everything can kind of bundle up down to Solana and then submit back to Ethereum. So there's a lot of interest in building out the SVM, and a lot of interest in like Solana as a whole and the tech and how performant it is. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how it plays out. But those are my 4 picks. If we have a little look at see if there's any others, just for curiosity's sake. It's really hard to see through the noise, if I'm completely honest. Look at volume. All volumes just memes. memes. Yeah, as I mentioned, cloud could be interesting, but I don't know, because Jito seems really, really strong with its offering. But if it goes on a comps basis, like cloud launch drastically lower than Jito, so if Jito catches a bit, then cloud might catch a bit off the back of it. So we'll have to see, but that's the idea. Could be wrong. At least you've got clear direction to see when you are wrong with regards to price and with regards to thesis. So if you enjoyed it, please give us a like, subscribe, head into Discord. It's all free. We're hanging out in there. But yeah, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week, so leave us a comment if there's anything you want covering. We'll try and cover it. All right, see ya. Bye.